What's up, y'all? So I just got off the road. Basically, I still got my tracksuit on from my homeboy was dripping and running, dodging traffic. It was a lot going on, but Austin was fun, so that's good. I was on a boat. That was great. It was different because the ones in Houston, like in Lake Conroe, they'll like actually take you out on the water for a while. This one, it literally, I technically didn't pay for it, but this one literally took them people for us to the corner. It drove, it felt like 20 meters over, went to the corner and parked. I said, so y'all paid to just sit on the boat. Because not only it didn't even take you on the water, you didn't even get the little bit of it. It was like we really was like probably traveling on the water for probably 4 or 5 minutes. I'm like, it was still a great time, because I actually get in the water and I'm kind of tall. Y'all should know that by now. So like my feet don't touch the ground, but I can swim, so it was cool. But now that was a lifeguard back in the day. But if you drown now, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to save you now. I don't remember all the stuff. I remember a little bit though. Um, so today we've been consistent, y'all. This is now, although we're talking about track 5, this is 6 consecutive weeks with the live streams after taking that long unplanned hiatus. So today I have another great guest, somebody who has yet to be on the actual podcast yet, but he will soon. So we're gonna introduce him a little bit, and then I'm gonna save a lot of the things I want to say for when he actually comes on the show and interview. So let me go ahead and introduce him now. My boy, what's going on?
What's going on, King? How you doing, man?
I'm blessed, man.
Yeah,
I'm
you
good.
know,
What about you?
I'm blessed, man. Can't complain, bro. We live and breathe and got another day. Got to be thankful for it.
Nah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, real quick, tell the people what's your name, where you from, and then tell them what you do.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jordan Harold. I am from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm from the STL for sure. And right now, I wear many hats. First of all, I give honor to Christ because I serve Him. Number one. Number two, I help build businesses, I help with business process improvement. And the biggest thing that you may see me do on social media is teach about cryptocurrency and just blockchain, man. I love to be here. I love to be a part of this podcast because I'm big on mental health. I'm big on especially building us up as men. I think that's super important. Again, God just blessed me to kind of be able to do a couple of different things and just help people. So that's what it's all about, bro. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so I figured you was from St. Louis. I didn't know for sure, but I
Yeah,
figured you was because I can hear it. Like I can tell. Like I said, when I went off to school, I
yeah,
it's like I can hear it. Like because I remember I went to Houston for school, and I came back home. I used to didn't think we had no accent, and I came home like we definitely have an accent. And then
yeah,
mine is definitely thicker than most people's. And people don't even from St. Louis. When I was in St. Louis, didn't even think I was from St. Louis. They're like, "Where you from?" They thought I was from Alabama. So
yeah,
when
yeah.
I came back home, it's like we definitely have one. And then like I can spot an accent. I just got to be around somebody for like a good 2 minutes, and I'm like, "You from Boston? You from Baltimore?" I
Right.
can hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a lot of stuff going on, cryptocurrency, all that good stuff. Like I said, we won't get too much into that,
For sure.
but we keep seeing things, whether it's in the news, whether it's a hunch,
Mm,
whether it's a prophetic word
mm.
about cryptocurrency, stocks, investments, all that good stuff. Now, I don't really know the most about that. It kind of confuses me. I'm not a numbers person. I'm a writer, but
Got you.
numbers and stuff is kind of, a little tricky for me. So, what can you like in like maybe a minute dumb it down so that people
All
can get
right.
it, especially in the climate we in now?
Okay. So cryptocurrency is exactly what it sounds like. It's digital currency. What makes it different from our US dollar or fiat currency? It's the fact that it's digital. But to be honest with you, it's not that big of a difference. If you look at how much cash is actually out there, how much physical cash we use today, it's not that big of it's not that much of a difference. We use Apple Pay, we tap to pay, we barely go get cash out anymore. So when we look at cryptocurrency, all it is just another form of currency, and that's it. It's like you got the euro, you got the dollar, you got this, that, and the other thing. Now the benefits of cryptocurrency, one, Bitcoin, I'm gonna say, because people think that Bitcoin is cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is not cryptocurrency. It's a cryptocurrency, but it's not the whole thing of crypto. So I tell people about Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a deflationary coin or currency because there's only a certain amount versus the US dollar where they print it every single day.
Yeah.
So to make it real simple, if you understand supply and demand, if you know, especially we from Hustle City, so if you know how to hustle, if you understand selling and purchasing and the value of something, and when it's a hot commodity, that's when we look at crypto and we get to understand it a little bit more, specifically Bitcoin. Now, there's other cryptos that allow us to do different things as far as usage, but what makes a currency valuable is usage. Right now, we just use the dollar. But to be honest with you, right now it's using us. But we're about to. A lot of stuff is about to change. So that's a quick thing on crypto. It's just currency, and we got to understand that if one currency drops, or because the root word of currency is current. You
Right.
got so
Okay.
meaning it flows. So if it stops flowing in one area, it's gonna flow to another one.
Yeah.
That new area that it's flowing to is crypto, and we
Yeah.
see it everywhere. So
Because they keep talking about where we're going next and how things are going. I did download your book, I'm not gonna lie. Your
okay,
ebook, you was like throw how much ever you want, so that's good. I
yeah,
did give you a little something because I was like, I could got it for free, but I'm like, give the people this stuff, you know.
appreciate
um so I did download the book. A lot of the stuff, me and my mom follow somebody and she prophesied some things that we need to get and have and be prepared for. I have some things, not everything, and so I had
it. Yeah.
definitely prayed and I told God, I said, look, because I'm running my own business right now, so I'm doing I have a ghostwriting service, and
Okay.
so how many people
Oh,
got a
that's big.
ghostwriting service?
That's big, bro.
So
That's big.
appreciate it. So it started off as me doing homework
Mhm.
and for people, and from as low as undergrad all the way up through PhDs. And I'm actually now trying to transition out of that for ethical reasons, not because the money ain't there, because it's there, but ethical reasons, and do more of which I actually just got booked by this guy for some other stuff. I'll talk more about that offline.
Yeah.
But I do resumes currently, though. Right now, I do resumes, cover letters, copywriting
Yeah.
for companies, things, a little bit of grant writing, and some technical writing. And
Yeah.
I got into technical writing really on it just kind of happened because I did 2 classes. So when it was funny because I believe everything works how it's supposed to. And so throughout the years, I had 2 different classes I did for somebody, 2 different people that were technical writing classes.
Yeah.
So that's when I really started to become familiar with it. And then, but that's a lot of money, really, in all of it, but especially that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'll get more into that offline.
Man, I love it, man. And to be honest with you, I get the ethical part of it, but people using AI, man, it's so much out there. I developed the ebook for a friend, and we did ghostwriting for him. Um, and so because I've worked as a creative director on a couple of different projects just to help like
Okay.
push and build it. But I would say this, man. I think that's dope, and I wouldn't necessarily throw it out altogether. I would just use technology and make your job a lot easier with everything you're doing. And I got some ideas, but I ain't gonna say it on here because I don't want nobody to take it. You know what I
No,
mean?
we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk
Yeah,
after.
I throw it.
We
I
we gonna
throw it to you. Yeah, I
we're
throw
gonna
it
talk
to
after because
you.
there's more I gotta say. But
Yeah,
so I just was like, I'm like, well, if you want me to get all this stuff, you don't have to provide another resource or source for me to get some more money because right now I can't get all this stuff right now. So
right,
I'm like, you're gonna have to make it happen. If that's what we got to get, okay, you use these people to tell me what to get. Okay, so you're
right.
gonna have to provide the way. So that's something else I'll talk about later. But with that, I just want people to, and I was talking about this past weekend with somebody. Didn't even plan on this conversation, but I told them I was just like, we talked about black people, and we was just like, and I'm not knocking nobody's business. Let me throw
Hmm.
that out there. But we were just talking about black people all got the same business. They got clothes, they selling clothes, somebody do lashes, somebody do hair,
Mm.
somebody do what does everybody do the same thing? Everybody now got a trucking business. And again, do y'all make if y'all rich off that, I can't tell you nothing. But what I'm saying is, like, I just like how, like, when one homeboy, he on a daycare. But I just like the fact that we all got different stuff. And that's just
Yeah,
like, because like I said, who got a ghostwriting service? I tell people that they be like, they like look crazy,
they
but
don't even know what it is. They be like,
exactly.
what? Yeah.
No, they don't.
Nah, listen, I think that's needed, man, especially for busy individuals, high level individuals. They you that's a luxury service. You know what I mean? So yeah, you did something with that. That's not a normal thing, bro. So I got to give you, especially, bro, from the same city, bro. I got to give you your I got to give you your flowers, bro. I like that a lot, for real. I really
Appreciate you.
do.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
yeah. People don't think
No,
about that every day. So
no, for sure, for sure. Appreciate you. All right. So
yeah.
okay. So now, didn't even plan on that conversation. We got to get to what we're talking about today.
All right.
So last week's episode was track 5, and we talked about as a man, why are you a people pleaser? So
Mm.
when it comes to people pleasing, in the episode, I used for every episode that where I'm solo, I have to do a segment called the case study where I take whether it's a video from a YouTuber or a video from whatever video on YouTube or something I can find. I like kind of, if it aligns with the topic, kind of like clip it and go to different parts of it that makes sense. So I had 2 different TED Talks that I use, and one of them was talking about the not giving a F budget, which a lot of people struggle with because they care too much. The lady basically explained it like you have like everybody here your budget for the week, like financial, right? Which so like if you may say each week I'm only gonna spend $150. What I spend it on is my business, but that's the budget for the week, right?
Right.
So she said that with you not giving a F, whether that be, like, okay, I have 4, F's to give, but I don't
Right.
have 5.
Right.
So okay, I
Right.
use
Right.
my
Right.
my cares for these things. I don't have the care for that.
I like that.
And so a lot of people think that that's selfish to put yourself first in all situations. And one
Mm,
thing about me, which I learned even in this episode, which I said in the episode, I said,
yeah.
I'm not a people pleaser no more, but I still have people pleasing tendencies, which goes along with the other video that I used where a
Mm,
lady was talking about, do you still sometimes, and I'm all for, we have to use wisdom and discernment and when we say things and how we say them.
right.
But I know there was some people I was around, I would just be like, when they would just kind of, when they wouldn't necessarily use wisdom and discernment and what they said to me, I would
Right.
just say, I'm gonna just be quiet because I don't feel like dealing with this. But then you
Right.
kind of get to the logic of why are you doing that?
Mm,
And I feel like for me, it was like I just don't feel like dealing with your mouth. But in reality, you just trying to keep the peace and people please because this person may react a certain way. But
bro,
why are you walking on eggshells and they don't have to? So
bro. When I tell you that's especially for men, I think that's something that happens often. I
yeah,
know I've done that throughout my life, and obviously some of that also goes back to trauma when you're younger too. So and that's something that I've been uncovering a lot recently, and just allowing God to just work on my heart, man, because we don't know what we don't know, and a lot of times I'm glad this conversation is had because as men, it's a normalized thing because of the burden that men do have. At the end of the day, we have a burden, especially when we talk about being Christ led, and being a kingdom man. There's a burden there, right? And it means that you want to lead, you want to do these different things, but it does not mean you people please because we
right,
see in the Bible all the time what happened to people when they people please. King Saul, overform because again the people chose Saul and Saul chose the people instead of choosing God. So Saul had to go get, I mean, God had to go get David. You feel me? So
yeah,
when you look at different things like that, it's like, listen, man, especially when you choose people versus what God telling you to do because of how you feel for them. Because sometimes we can mess up. Sometimes we do need to not give an F because God may be doing something for the individual. You feel me? Like I probably can't give you this $100, fam, because if I give it to you, I'm taking a lesson away that God's trying to teach you. You feel me? So it's one of those things I can't call you and coddle you right now because if I do that, I'm enabling your dysfunction. You feel me?
yeah.
So it's different things like that, bro. So I think that's a powerful conversation for real.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. So, and then also this week, we I started off the episode. I always have my happy hour segment where I just kind of talk about a random topic that I felt just whatever. So for this
Right.
week, which the video did well on YouTube, it was a solo clip from the episode talking about. I was like, stop letting reality shows dictate or lead how you have relationships with people. And
Mm.
of course, I was clowning. I was just like, y'all sit up here dressed to the nines, go sit up at Chili's, calling people like, hey, can we meet up for dinner? And y'all come in dressed to the nines, and they're here talking about something that happened at the dinner party, and you overreacting about something, and then this person offended you this way. And it's like, y'all didn't let these shows dictate how y'all do everything.
Yeah.
And I feel as though people don't realize that they have, because stuff speaks to your subconscious. So even though you thinking you consciously watching it, you're not realizing you're internalizing what they doing. So you thinking
Yeah.
it's like, and sometimes we can do that in a funny way. It ain't always necessarily negative. That's in some cases can be negative. There's not always
Right.
bad ways you internalize stuff, but you internalizing, like I said, going up. Even somebody said on one of my podcast episodes last season, she said, I want to throw a drink on somebody because I saw it on Love and Hip Hop. So you ain't never thought to do that. You know what I'm saying? Who would think to
Right.
do that?
Right.
Now you want to do that. So I talked about that and just how and where I'm at in this season of my life, I want everything to come with ease. And
Mm.
I don't believe that stuff has to be hard sometimes, but not always. Because I think it's life. We think everything is supposed to be hard, and that's not necessarily the case.
Absolutely.
I think that this season, I think it was a Tiffany Montgomery when she talked about the definition of prosperity. She said the definition is ease.
Yeah.
So,
I like
of
to.
course, they have overused the prosperity gospel, but we know that. But
Yeah.
I think that was where I'm at. Like, if it gets to the point, I have to look at history. And a lot
Mm.
of times people think when they think of history, they think of wars and presidents and all that stuff. And that's true. But when they say history, if you don't know history, you don't repeat itself. I believe that also aligns with our personal lives too.
Yeah.
You didn't dealt with this type of situation before. And so when it come back around, are you gonna handle it the same? And
Right.
I know where I'm at in life when I get around certain people and I'm just like, they ain't even gotta do nothing, and I'm just irritated, or I just really don't want to be there. That's kind of the sign. One, I probably need to cut you off, even if it's just for a season, or two, it's expired. Because
Right.
sometimes you just take breaks from people, but where I'm at, some people, I just can't do it.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta leave people be, man, and just pray for them because that's your spirit getting irritated. Yeah.
But
that's your,
see,
that's your spirit getting irritated because you sense some there. You know what I mean? Depending on what spirit it is, you'll feel that, but you got that's that feeling that I agree with you, man. You gotta discern. That's discernment for sure. Discerning when, all right, I gotta cut this person off. I gotta spend some time away with you and just pray for you. Right? I might just let you be for a season because you gotta get this, man. But and a lot of times, some spaces just ain't for you. It's situations I done been in. God just like, fam, don't go. It's times I'll get asked to come to a place or do whatever, and God just like, no.
so now let me ask you this. So we all know it is considered it will be considered people pleasing if, say, for instance, y'all all have mutual friends
Mhm.
and you've decided, because what I used to do, which was people pleasing, which I got free from in 2016 when somebody did it to me, but which was if me and you cool,
Mhm.
but we have a mutual friend who you also cool with, and I'm friends with too, but I don't
Yeah.
really want to be around them no more, and I don't want to put you in a weird spot, so I don't stop hanging out with you because I don't stop hanging out with the other person, even though I don't like them no more, because I don't want it to be weird for you. Because then if I stop doing
Mm.
it, then people are gonna be like, "Oh, he being problematic," because you know what I'm saying, which I learned
Right.
was pleasing. But when somebody flipped and did it to me one time, I was like, they didn't care about nobody, and then nobody said none of them. So
Right.
that's when I kind of learned, like, just do what you need to do. And if you got to take the villain role, which I do oh so well,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But my
Yeah. That role is, yeah. Because I mean, and sometimes I would say to add to that, sometimes it take when you dealing with certain type of people, it's good to just communicate that. Like, to be honest with you, fam. But if they go be messy, that that's another thing you got to worry about. You got to discern if the person gonna be messy or not, and make it a big deal. But to be honest with you, Right now, I don't feel like I can be around this person for a little bit. So if you're gonna kick it with them, go ahead, bro. But I ain't going. Sometimes you, especially if you super cool with the person, just let them know. But if it's like one of them, you don't know if they finna go play sides or start some mess, then yeah, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
And as the episode ended, I definitely gave some tips on how to not people please, and I made the joke and said somebody should write an ebook on how to be how to not be a people pleaser, because I feel like that's a book that's missing. Somebody need to read that because it's one of
No,
those.
you need to do it because you need to do it, and I need to read it. That's what
So,
it's
do you
saying.
struggle with people pleasing at all?
I have, and I've done it recently, and I think that's something that the Lord had to teach me how to say no. Because I had to learn how to have boundaries because I'm somebody with a big heart, and I give. If I love you, I'm giving, I live by something called unconditional love. You know what I mean? It's even tatted on my chest, but it's one of those things to where, bro, I give and I give and I give, and sometimes I may forget because of how I love or how I am. I may put others before myself, but God also had to teach me to have boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And what He showed me was, and even through one of my friend's mother, she said, Jay, you God had boundaries for a reason because he had the water and he had the land. But every time we see the water going to the land is destruction. You
Yeah.
feel me? So that boundary is there for a reason. So I've been having this year, and I say probably really this year, mainly definitely part of the half of last year, I started placing boundaries in place and making sure I did things the right way. I had people tell me, whatever outside looking in, and I got to a place where I had to listen, man. So yeah, boundaries is big because people can, and people can, it can happen without you even realizing it, and then without the people realizing that they really just pulling on you. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
because you just go. Some people don't do it on purpose. Sometimes it's just you. You gotta learn to say no. So
For sure, for sure.
yeah,
So, I'm gonna do it some out of order today. Usually, I talk about next week's episode, but since we're not doing an episode next week, I'll just tell y'all for this week. I want y'all to make sure if you haven't caught up on all 5 tracks thus far, which was track 1, "As a Man, Why Are You Impatient?" Track 2, "As a Man, Why Are You in the Zodiac Signs?" Track 3, which split into 2 parts over 2 weeks, "As a Man, Why Do You Have Anxiety?" Track 4, which was "As a Man, Why." Um, so I know people pleasing was the most recent one, which was track 5, and then track 4 was "As a Man, Why." I forgot what it was. Let me see. Uh, what was it? "As a Man," because I'm saying if I don't say it, it's gonna blow me. "As a Man, Why Are You Easily Offended?" That was track 4, and then track 5 is "As a Man, Why Are You a People Pleaser?" And then track 6, when we do come back, will be "As a Man, Why Are You Into Self Care?" And that talks about a lot of different things. We talk about quite a few things, not just
we
limited
need that.
to, huh?
So we need that.
We're not just limited to manicures and pedicures. We're also talking about BBLs because niggas is getting BBL. And we
That's
need to talk
crazy.
about that. And we're going to get both sides of the ball. But all right. So getting into the topics for the day, we speaking on one situation, but I'm not just going to leave it here because I have a lot to say about this person. So
Okay.
in the news recently, Tyrese has been on a rampage with
Man.
his commentary all over the place from Shannon Sharp. We actually talked about it this weekend when my homeboy said he was just talking. He said that anytime Shannon Sharp asked him a question, he would just start talking about something else. But we got a clip from Tyrese speaking on the Asian hate bill and giving his take on it, which I kind of agree with it, but I don't have. Let me just let's watch it. Let me share my
Okay.
screen,
Let's do
and
that.
then we're gonna watch this real quick so that I ain't even gotta go back and forth about it.
All right, I'm sharing this on IG now.
Kamala Harris signed an Asian crime bill, which makes it beyond illegal to ever purposely and maliciously do anything to anybody in the Asian community. And there was a spike in crimes and criminal behavior in and around COVID, allegedly and specifically motivated by Trump. And so everybody started treating Asians, beating them, killing them, shooting them, stabbing them, hurting them. And then he gets into the White House, skips over every black and brown Mexican and Latino that have been getting killed like flies, and he makes it a law. Asian hate crime bill. It's signed into law. So whether you're a police, President Biden and Kamala Harris.
Okay, so we don't have the full clip, but we just have a little bit of Tyrese speaking on that. So
Right.
we're gonna get into the first segment with this first, which is what does this have to do with mental health? I'm gonna say my piece first, and I'm gonna let you talk.
Okay.
Seems as though Tyrese is he's starting to have like breakdowns, and we've seen him, crying about one of his daughter and saying congratulations. And we seen him on the Breakfast Club, and he was on Shannon Sharp recently, and now he's talking about the Asian. So, were you familiar with the Asian hate bill?
Actually, no, I
Yeah,
was not. Yeah, I
yeah.
was
It
not.
was a situation that happened a while ago, where even
Yeah.
Dr. Umar was just saying like he wasn't against that bill. He just was like, why don't black people have one?
Right.
But back to Tyrese. So Tyrese, again, he's been on different rap pages and speaking on different things. And now Roland Martin actually dropped a video today commenting on that situation, saying he was loud and wrong. I have my views about Roland Martin personally, but saying he was loud and wrong, and that's not what it is. And then of course us, we was in the comments going back and forth like, oh, you want to hide something from black people, put it in the book, and oh, you black people don't know nothing. Other black people saying it's the black people. And with Tyrese, I think he's going through it. I don't know what he didn't see. I got an idea. I don't know what he has seen or been through, but I feel like the industry is something I don't know. He feel like he's starting to have a breakdown, and it's clear for the public to see. And I think it's much deeper than just his wife. I think there's a lot to do with ex-wife, but I think it's more. What's your take on that? Or him?
I watched a full clip of Tyrese on a podcast, and that was on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast.
Okay.
And I seen him on a couple different podcasts, and I'm watching Tyrese, and the thing is, I would say this: I love that man. One, because he is legitimately unafraid to open his mouth. Right now, the thing is, I would say that when it comes to mental health, he has voices to say, he getting it together. You know what I mean? So I can see the breakouts, I can see the rants that he goes on, all these different things. And I think there is a responsibility for somebody that has been a part of the culture, that has been a part of the industry, to speak up on certain things. But I would say, like, man, some stuff is outlandish for sure. But who's to say that he hasn't caused something? Or because at the end of the day, I feel like what it is doing, I think it definitely is a mental health thing, but it's also bringing light to it. He's also big on black men being able to cry. You know what I mean? So he said a lot of different things, man, that, like, I'm like, all right, Tyrese, you going in right now, fam. You got you gotta
Yeah.
relax. And other times it's like, okay, yeah, this brother making sense. You feel me? So it's one of those things to where and sometimes when he talk, man, he just get it going. I was watching him, he was just going. He was letting it out. And it's like it's like he's allowing these public formats to be the places where he just let it hang out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? He ain't even like, and he ain't holding back not at all. I don't feel like. And he literally letting it out. I'm finna watch this movie later on tonight, the new one that just came out. You
Not
know,
the No, he ain't on the Deliverance.
he got a new one called 1992.
Okay, I think
It's a cold film. It got, I think, Ray Liotta in it, bro. It's hard. It has to do with Rodney King, and they started rioting. He was like, in a movie, he like this OG. His son get caught up in this big heist where they stealing platinum, all the black people, and everybody's looting in the city, but they actually stealing platinum bars from something. It's some crazy story. Snoop Dogg was some story like Snoop Dogg, and then was actually rioting in it. Like, back when it was happening, they actually rioted, and now they produced it and made a movie about it. So it's dope. I'm gonna check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go to the next segment, which is WWID. What would I do in this situation? So this is the thing. I haven't fully. One thing about me is I'm not the policy person. One thing I will say is I do know some stuff,
Right.
and it's funny because I used to lie to myself say I wanted to be a lawyer, but I only said that because everybody said I had the skill sets of being one, and you
Yeah.
know what I wanted to do, what I told wasn't going to work. So I said I want to be a lawyer, and which is crazy because I hate politics.
Right.
But so you know that ain't right. But anyway, so I think that I get the bigger scale because I don't want to be loud and wrong. And that's one thing I will say about him. Sometimes I'm all for speaking out. I
Right.
do that. But we can't be loud and wrong too. And sometimes I feel as though he can cross that line and he can be a little loud and wrong.
All right. Yeah.
Do you want to challenge that?
I'm gonna say like, cause again, man, I think it's cause I feel like, all right, Tyrese, you tripping. You know what I mean? Like, cause I'm a big person to try to look at it from somebody else's eyes, and I'll look and I'll be like, nah. Other times I'll be like, you right. But I think it's one of those things to where, like especially with the talking about the policy and talking about what happened and why he is upset. I get why he is upset.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of times it's not what you say, is how you say it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I think go to that because again, yes, man, you can be loud and wrong, but it is also a thing of all right perspective. How is he thinking? What it like? What's causing him to even act like this? Kind of like what you said. It bring up like, all right, what else is it? It ain't just this. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things, I'll be like, all right, because with that specific thing, I get it. Black people, all this stuff, but we can really talk about it. If we really want to talk about it, I got my own opinions about it. You know what I mean? I can immediately say it has to do with value and how you know money behind certain things. Because at the end of the day, we're always the number one consumer right now. We don't have too much economical power because of the lack of wealth that I mean, we got wealth coming into the community, which is good. But when you talk about unity, numbers, and the way we transact on a higher scale, that's what we're missing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, yeah, people, because when it comes to politics, bro, when it comes to a lot of different things, I tend to just look at it and be like, it's all about the money at the end of the day, regardless, fam. But with that, yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's like, I don't know, man. Yeah, you can be loud and wrong, but I would say from his side, sometimes it's just a matter of agreeing or disagreeing. Like, look, man, you real loud, but I get your point. I may get where you're coming from, or I don't, but I disagree.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it comes to that, man. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no. Like I said, with him, he just I think I don't know. It just seems like he might be fed up with a lot of stuff, and I'll go more in depth in that to the final segment of this topic. But
yeah.
let's go to the next one, which is turned off. WWJD. What would Jesus do?
All right.
So in this situation, as always, and sometimes we can't always say what would Jesus do. In certain situations we have in this segment, he wouldn't been in them. But so then we have to just say what was the most ethically and morally correct thing to do. Ethical is the word of the day, I guess. Whenever Jesus spoke, because it's funny how you read like a different chapter or Bible verse or whatever, and you may read it one way and then you read another time and it comes at you another way. And I remember reading through Luke one time again, probably maybe third time, and I was reading and I was just like, I felt like he was yelling at me because I felt like when I was reading it, like he was very aggressive. Now he wasn't
Yeah,
now it was still a righteous anger because there's nothing wrong with anger, it's just how you go about it.
yeah,
But he was very, now he ain't start none.
yeah,
But he was very when they would try to challenge him, and he would just be like, "Y'all are wrong. No, this is
yeah,
not it." Or
yeah,
and so
for sure.
I think that with Tyrese, though, because it's one thing, like you said, a matter of agreeing or disagreeing. There's a difference between loud and wrong, and sometimes it do just be like, "What are you talking about?" But then at the same time, you go argue with when you have a unconventional way of thinking, like myself. It can kind of be one thing. For example, like you said, agreeing and disagreeing, and then loud and wrong. One gift that I've had that I've realized maybe a few years ago now that I have is with people. I have never been wrong about a person, even even if I ignored it. That is a
Mm.
God-given gift. Even if I ignored it myself, I was like, I told my friends,
You
that's why I
got
got
great
some,
discernment. You got some
yeah,
great discernment.
when
Yeah,
it come to people for sure. Because even I
yeah,
got some friends who, just being honest, they really ain't into like God and stuff like that. And
right.
my one homeboy, he was just like, I ain't gonna lie. He said, you've been pretty accurate. He known me now about 10 years. He's like, everybody
Yeah.
you called, you've been right. I said, and I'm not
Mm.
saying stop dealing with them. I'm just saying have your eyes open because some about them ain't right.
For sure.
I don't know what it is, but I think that my opinion of Tyrese is I think that he's fed up. I think all this stuff and his that he's going on behind the scenes is really starting to get up to him. And then this is my wonder, and maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. And maybe he's done some things he's not proud of, and it's starting to eat him up. And it's then kind of, kept it down for many years, and now it's starting to
Mm.
come to the top, and now he's like
Right.
losing it because he's,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna get into details as to what he did because I don't know, but it's
Right.
just kind of like you did some stuff and it's starting to come back to haunt you, and now you just have no rest. Like they say, it's
Yeah.
no rest for the wicked. Not saying he wicked, but I'm just saying,
Right.
like, what's your take on that?
I think, man, because I would say I can't say no to that, but I will say it could also be the fact that I mean, I think it's like a mix of both, like things that he's done and things that was done to him that maybe he ain't never really voiced or talked about, never really had the platform to do it because he didn't know how to. You know what I mean? Because him going through a lot. Well, he lost his wife. Didn't he lose his mom too?
He lost his Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he took the losses, man. So like when you go through grief, fam, because my mom went through grief. You know what I mean? And when you go through grief, bro, it's different. You know, and then you also grieve that relationship. I'm sorry, fam. When you really love a woman, now it could be some stuff you did now to lose her. You know what I mean? But when you really love a woman, you grieve her. It's different. So people have a hard time handling grief, and then also ain't no telling, bro, because Tyrese from the hood. You know what I mean? So when it comes to it, bro, all that it's a lot. I think that's being the layers of Tyrese is being pulled back. I think for the world to see. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's like he uncovering himself for the world to see because he ain't never did it before. You know what I mean? So when you walk into that light and you pulling back the layers in front of everybody like that, and everybody saying whatever, like, bro, you a star. You know that. Then not only that, bro, you claiming Jesus, or you gonna get attacked, fam. I'm sorry. It don't matter. It don't matter what's going on. I wish somebody would be able to actually like a leader where Tyrese can submit to. When I say because when you can submit to an authoritative leader, bro, like a real man of God, bro, that can really speak into your life, or a real woman of God that can help you with that stuff like that, bro. Like it's different, you know. And also, I know he said he do therapy, so that's for me therapy like a war tactic. You feel me? But when it comes to that, bro, I think it's what you said, but also I think we see layers just getting pulled back off of him. Like he uncovering some stuff he ain't even confronted. You know what I mean? He said he was talking about with a movie in Baby Boy when it was a scene where he wasn't able to really get angry until what's his name? Was it Mel? Until
Big Rain.
Mel, yeah, until he was like he said his mama name. He said some yeah, Priscilla some, and then Tyrese said he got angry. You know what I mean? So like he telling us, you know what I mean, what's going on with him because he got triggers that he didn't even know he had. You know, he getting triggered every single day. Every time he go on these platforms, and I think that's another thing, bro. We exploiting that. You know what I mean? Like certain people, they want to see that part of him, and they exploiting that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we can talk about it too, like somebody exploiting his mental health, and like you see something wrong with him, bro. You see what's going on. You gonna let him get on there and just talk like that? Like I know you're
yeah,
trying to promote whatever, but let's be honest. So I think it's a couple of different things, man. Like you said, I think we seeing layers because he did some stuff for sure. Being in the industry, being where he's from, he had to do some stuff. We all done did some stuff. You feel me? And then also, whatever was done to him, because he didn't say it, man. People didn't. He talk. He be really. He be talking this stuff now too. You feel me? He be saying I done sold out arenas. he get to talking, bro. I didn't watch him, so for me, I'd be praying for him because he on a certain scale, he doing all this stuff, and it's like, yo, like, and you claiming Christ, and I'm happy you are, but you got to understand, bro, the weapons of your warfare ain't carnal. So that's another thing, bro.
Right. That's a topic for a whole nother day. You know that. So let's get into the final segment with this before we go to the final topic. WSMD, what should men do in this situation? I would just say, if you can, things happen. If you feeling highly emotional about something, even if you're right, calm down first before you speak on it. Because sometimes, even if you're not wrong, even with him, even if he's not wrong, because you're highly emotional, it's just look like, oh, here he go. You know what I'm saying? People gonna instantly not even listen to what you're
Yeah,
saying
bro.
because you're just so emotional. So if you can, that's my only take on that. If you can.
Yeah, I think that's what would Jesus do too.
Yeah. Not speak out of emotion. Because even if you're right, it's just hold it down for that.
Yeah, be angry and sin not. You know what I mean? The word says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. You feel
No,
me?
for real.
So you gotta. I agree with you, fam. You gotta slow down because it's times to where that thing get to going in you. You know what I mean? Like that flesh get to eating at you a little bit, and to be able to hold that down, you gotta have a certain type of maturity, emotional maturity, fam. So I agree with you.
All right, so let's move to the final topic for the day. Now, I was kind of debating on what I want to talk about, and although I don't really watch that show no more, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, so I'm still familiar with the characters, but they have Mendeeces and Yandy from back in the day. They own Atlanta, or whatever now, and
Mhm.
so basically, Mendeeces talked about, which we have the clip, the audio from the Lapeef Network. We're going to listen to the clip where where they were in a counseling session on the show. And Mendeeces talks about how he's not wearing his wedding ring right now. And so we're going to listen to him talk about that, and then we're going to give our take on that. So let me share my screen because I thought that was an interesting topic, especially in today's
Yeah.
So let me share my screen and let's get to watching that.
And respect is so broad. I would want you to tell Yandy, what does respect look like to you?
I think respect is just being valued, making sure I'm seen and I'm heard, and taking my feelings into consideration.
And I love that you're very specific and allow that to be a process. Yandy's not going to do that perfectly tomorrow. But now you're sowing the seed and she's aware to do those things for you.
One thing that I also feel like is that respect should be mutual. Since we've been dealing and going through it, this guy over here decided he no longer wanted to wear his ring.
I feel like once we get to a place where this respect is restored, then we can wear the ring.
So if it was a question from Yandy about your ring, what would your answer be to her?
Our concept of wearing the ring is, people together as one. I'm trying to get there.
Not there yet.
What is the part, the together part or the one part?
Both.
You don't feel like we're together? Feel like it invites so much negative energy. It invites so many questions. All of a sudden, people are like, are y'all together? He doesn't wear his ring. It's draining.
How does it make you feel that she's feeling like that every day?
For me, it has to feel real. A smile for social media, a smile for the cameras, and I can't fake it. I think once you start worrying about the comments and what the blogs are saying, you start to alter your life to some people that don't even know you or give a about you. But when it comes to Yandy, she pay attention to all that.
So the question, though, is, are you willing to fight for this thing?
I'm trying to get there.
Every single time I come to these therapy sessions, I'm hopeful.
All right, we're going to stop it there because we pretty much got the gist of what's going on.
Yo.
All right, so let's get into the first segment, which is, what does this have to do with mental health? So, are you married or have you been married?
No, man, but I've been on the verge of it. But I'm not married. No.
Were your parents married?
Yes, my mother was married. My mother was actually married 3 times, but her last husband actually passed, which is my stepfather. Rest in peace, Victor Jordan. He died in 2020. So
okay, so you were able to grow up in a house with seeing marriage, right?
Yes, I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it. Now, if I gotta say, like the last marriage was everything that I got to see everything, and I got to see people stick through it and really love each other a certain way. You know what I mean? Early on, you know, you saw a couple different things, but that's another conversation for sure.
Okay, so now you didn't seen that, and like I said, with me, both my parents they got a divorce when I was like 9, and so
Right.
but I've still seen healthy marriage as far as just like from the outside looking in, and
Right.
even before it ended, I have a great memory, so I remember a lot. Um, so I think that we put up this thing. What does it have to do with mental health? I think that with him, he basically is letting people know, like, he's fighting for, which is good to hear him say on camera. He could have been like, oh, I'm over it, act like I didn't care, which he didn't care, which most men kind of act like they just do, like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I liked how he said that, I'm trying to, but he just feel like we going through it right now, and he feels like she only cares about what the world thinks. Of course, that can be, he says, she said, everybody can, you know what I'm saying? Just because you
Right.
feel like it's true, and this big reasons why you think that. But what is your take when? Okay, so let me ask you this, and of course we ain't married, so it's only so much we can say.
Right.
But what is your take on men not wearing a wedding ring when they're going through it? Because we ain't gonna speak on women.
I think it's full of crap, and the reason why I say that is because it's hard for me not to talk about God, fam. I live as a kingdom citizen, so my lens is different than culture because my mindset is kingdom. So when I look at what God wanted from marriage, you feel me? And a lot of people ain't gonna necessarily like it all the time, especially as men, we don't like it. It's parts of it that even in walking towards marriage, I haven't liked it. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things that we have to, it's a mindset thing to say, once you fully understand what marriage is, one of you understand, you gotta understand God first. A lot of these men, I don't think they know God. And like you said, we grew up in households where we ain't really seen marriage and we don't really understand it. We don't know Christ, we don't know what it means to die to ourselves. And the Bible say, love your wife like Christ loved the church. One thing I tell my sisters is you need to find a man of God because he's gonna understand how to love you how God loves you, not how the world see love. You feel me? So I think that he's entitled to feel how he feels. That's number one. I like that he voiced that. But as far as taking a ring off while you in it, nah, fam. I think that if you marriage is a serious commitment, and I think we grow up in a breakup culture. And I think even as men, like yeah, it can get hard or whatever, but we still have to learn to die to ourselves. Once you like you have a duty by God, bro. Even spiritually, fam. Like you guys are one, even if it don't feel like it. Once you make that commitment, it's over with, bro. Like you attach to that person regardless. To the point to where the Bible said even if you divorce your wife, unless she cheated on you, you still married to her. You feel me? So and that can affect you in life because you still tied to a person. So for me, when you talk about this subject, bro, you gotta to understand marriage, bro, you gotta have two people that's willing to die to themselves consistently on a day-to-day basis. Two people gotta understand what it means to bear their cross. And the reason why because the devil, bro, has been attacking relationships, marriage. So we live in a culture that's so break up to make up and ring this and ring that. And yeah, it can look good on social media. It can become real fake, but that don't mean I get why he don't want to wear it. So we have to acknowledge his emotions as a man because that's how he feel.
Right.
But it's also to say like, yo, it ain't over yet, fam. Like it's not over. Like so if you still trying, then you put it on. It don't make sense to take it off. Tell her how you feel. Be real with her. You know what I mean? But you gotta. The fact of the matter is, you are taking. You is giving an open door to the enemy to come in and make it worse. If you're really trying, you ain't gonna want an open door for the enemy to come in. You ain't gonna want nothing to slide up in there. You know what I mean? So, are you really trying? Or are you saying you're trying? You know what I mean? So it's like that thing to where we got to be real honest and really understand this, bro, from a place to where I'm big on understanding from how God see it, bro, and that's a whole different thing. So as far as that mental health, he's entitled to feel how he feel, but I think the mindset on marriage is off, bro. I think that's a demonic act if you ask me, bro. But it's an emotional thing, but And we got again, we have to acknowledge our emotions. Men's emotions need to be acknowledged. You feel me? Like that's not nothing to play with. But him taking it off is like, what does that do to her? It makes it worse. You know what I mean? You making a divide worse than what it need to be, fam. You know, so that's my take on that, bro.
What would I do in this situation? So, here's what you wouldn't do. Now, I think that the same thing is that you're gonna may go through a period or a time where it might be a little, shake. You might not like her for a minute, and that's what it is. That's life. You're a human being. But I think that you doing that, you can only walk around temptation for so long before you just say give in. You know what I'm saying? Even the strongest people. So it's like you not wearing it. And even though, because a lot of here's what people think, and this is where you go wrong, because I've been there before, where you think like when you making excuses in your head about something, that's when you about to do something. If you keep going, you're like, oh, say for instance, you entertain somebody, you shouldn't be entertaining. We just friends, I mean, yeah, we talk a lot, but we ain't did nothing. We ain't even talked about sex before, so it don't even matter. Then it just one thing led to another. Bro. Remember what the girl said about Netflix years ago? One thing led to another, and then end up in my mouth.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens, because that's a whole line. So if you soon as you say one thing led to another, you like to say some hotels.
Yeah.
So I think that it's best that once you see it starting to form, you kind of flee the scene. What did I bring up earlier in this episode? I said history is don't repeat itself. You've been in this situation before. You know what happened the last time, but you're entertaining it still, and you know what happened the last time.
Bro, we men, bro. I'm sorry, fam. We are men, bro. Bro, it's like putting a steak in front of a dog and leaving the room all day and expecting the dog not to eat the steak. He gonna eat the steak, fam. So for me, it's one of them. Like it's exactly what you said, bro. Like you can be even as men of God or whatever. That's why we got people with problems now. Like listen, listen, bro. I can talk about it. Like men have this nature to want women if they not really kept to keep themselves out of those situations and keep doors closed. You feel me? They gonna fall. It happened every time, bro. We see that all over the Bible. We see it in today's world, even with pastors, with dudes. Period. I got boys that come to me and talk to me about whatever, but I'm like, fam, like you know what you're doing. You know, you
right.
know, bro. Even in situations that I put myself in, fam, I knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like, that's all, bro. Like, you know what you're doing.
WWJD, what would Jesus do? So obviously, but I look at this, we're gonna take this from a different angle. We're gonna not talk about it from man and woman. We're gonna talk about it from the angle of like spiritually, because if we are supposed to be God's bride or whatever, right? If you are, it's kind of equivalent to you going somewhere and you not talking about, not necessarily need to walk in the room and say, well, Jesus did this for me. And me and my mom talked about that a long time ago. We talked about people that usually do that probably had went through so much. So when they're not in their lifestyle no more, it's kind of like, I had a homegirl, shout out to her. I don't know if she's gonna watch this. When I first met her, she was a straight stud and like stud. Right. And then she ended up starting the process of doing transitioning to a dude. And so she got the beard and everything, and she's a woman today. And I like, and when I showed my homeboy, I said, look at her. I said, do you see how good she looked? And he was just like, and then what happened? And I had made the comment because I'm very sarcastic and satire style of comment. I said, it couldn't have been nothing but Jesus, because what else would have been the reason? Because she was okay. It wasn't like she, what I'm saying? She did all that. So you doing all that, And so he said, well, maybe she just got bored with life or something. I said, no, I don't think she just got bored.
Man, only God can do that transformations, man. That's a fact, bro.
But I think that it's equivalent to like if somebody goes somewhere and say, for instance, they talking about like the Bible in a negative way or God in a negative way, and you just kind of like not saying nothing, or maybe people, it's just you have to be a representation at all time. And I feel like even though, like I said, neither one of us been married, we understand that you represent whoever you're with every time you out. So if you out, say for instance, single, which we see a lot of men do, they just do, and you're married or whatever, and you outside and you all up in these women face and doing all this stuff, you making your wife look bad. So I feel like it's kind of the same thing with out here living a life a certain way. You making God look bad because it's like you telling people this, you know what I mean? And we all struggle. So it's not that. But after a while, certain things you shouldn't keep struggling with. That's what I believe.
Absolutely, bro.
So, but it's still a process and it don't happen overnight. So this ain't the condemning podcast. I ain't condemning nobody today. I'm just saying.
You ain't condemning them, man. You speaking facts, bro. You speaking facts. I think that's another thing. Like us as believers, we can't be sensitive because sometimes it ain't even condemnation we feel, it's conviction we feel. You feel me? Because there is no condemnation in those that believe Christ Jesus.
So then we're gonna end it off with the final segment, which I'll give my take, and I'm sure you'll give yours. I just think moving forward, he should put it back on. I'd rather you announce that y'all getting a divorce, then take it off before doing it while we just in a rough patch. Because and then we know how TV is; that could be scripted, but it's still people that do stuff like that. So it still needs to be a conversation needs to be had because you'll see that on TV. They might have went, hey, in the bed chilling at home, like, all right, so how are we gonna spice it up this season? Okay, this is what we're gonna do. And then you know what I'm saying? They do that. But there are people in real life who see that and they thinking, remember we talked about earlier with the whole internalizing. So now you didn't internalize that, you thinking that's what I'm gonna do, or that's okay to do.
Yeah, Mendeeces did it. Nah, fam.
Yeah.
I think that men should, when it comes to marriage, fam, one, keep the ring on. You made that commitment. Right. As a man, you made that commitment. And most of the time, it don't matter what it looked like, it's on you anyway if the marriage don't go how it's supposed to go. Because as you said earlier, sometimes you got to end up being a villain. You feel me? So, but the thing is, it's your duty, I feel like, as a man to do what you have to do and die to yourself to make it work. Because, again, bro, like from a kingdom perspective, unless you commit adultery, fam, you in that thing. You stuck like Chuck. And you got to work it out. That's why you got to be careful who you marry. But I think that's a heavy thing. I think men should stick it in. And as a man, because real men understand what that means, bro. If you ask me, they understand how to die to themselves, to do what they're supposed to do. But meaning we control what we can control, regardless of what this person is doing, regardless of expectations. I do my part, and all I can do is that throughout the entire time. Because at the end of the day, it's about us. As men. So what is my duty as a man? That's my duty. It's not even about what she doing. I think we do too much expectations of love can be so conditional, fam. So why are you so conditional? We got to love each other as we love ourselves. So that's my take on it, bro, for men. That's what men should do. Do what you're supposed to do. You feel me? So
Definitely. So now as we end off today, any other thing you want to promote, highlight, because we talked about a lot of stuff today. So anything that you want to highlight, promote before we go. And like I said, this is just a piece of him, y'all. We're gonna have him on the full interview at some point in the near future. So when we get off here, that's one of the things I need to ask you about. Okay. But anything you want to add?
Listen, man, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. As those who may follow me, and as I said with you, Izzy, is one of them things, bro, to where we talking about this stuff, and this stuff can even be entertaining. But there's some serious stuff about to happen. We're talking about blackouts. You mentioned some prophecies and stuff earlier on, and when we started, and it's a lot of stuff God has said. It's a lot of stuff even veterans have came out and said. Intel from the U.S. We got stuff about to hit the nation. Blackouts, the de-dollarization. There's a lot of stuff happening. And what I do on my page is right now I'm actually educating people, not only in crypto, but understanding how we can put ourselves in the right position to survive what's about to hit us, because it's about to get real wicked. So if anybody watching this, just follow me, join the free community on Telegram, download the survival guide, and it's for believers. Now, if you don't, you may think I'm a conspiracy theorist or whatever. If you think that, that's okay. I have no problem with that. But if you believe in what I'm telling you, or if you believe in what you see when you go watch it, please download the survival guide and join the community. And that's it, man. I got crypto courses, other stuff, but I'm just happy to be a part, man. So thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. So that is all this week, y'all. So again, this week, no new episode. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go through probably a season 4 or 5 episode that's kind of relevant for now. And then I'm going to just re-upload it, the audio version on YouTube. And yeah, and I might promote it that way, and then we'll just call it a day. So thank you for pulling up on me today. Like I said, stay on for a little bit after. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And remember, as always, I love us for real.